And we're on. Hello and welcome to podcast episode 116 of Rope and Oak Boxing. The 2 days are back on a Thursday to bring you a bit of a preview show going into the weekend. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. And if you're listening via audio, especially on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review as nothing else will do. For regular listeners or for new listeners, you will have listened to our review show from last night. We're back tonight on a Thursday. We're going to have a bit of a chin wag, and then we're going to dive into the boxing action that's about at the weekend. There's not a lot, but there's a few bits and bats that we can dissect, if you like. So, Davey boy, how was your weekend, brother? We haven't really caught up as of much. Anything to report in the world of David Holland?
I was meant to go out with Lee Harper, the one that doesn't listen. Remember?
Friend of the show that never listens, yeah. I still can't get over that.
I was out, and I did end up going out on the piss with him. Well, it started that way. I met him. We went to the pub. We were playing darts. I had one beer, and then I got awful news that my dad had been rushed into hospital. So I had to leave mid-pint and drive all the way to Portsmouth. Luckily, I'd only had half a pint. I was only still on my first, luckily. And to go and see my dad, we weren't in the best of condition. So that was my weekend. I stayed there Saturday night in the clothes that I had on, as you do when you're rushing around in panicking and whatnot. And I never went to work Monday because there's all that going on. But he's home now. He's not great. Like I say, he's one of his lungs is not working, so he has to have oxygen now and can't do a lot. So it's not great. But he's not in hospital, so he wanted to be home with my mum. So my weekend was shite. But I did get I did pay for Lola to have a birthday message from Katie McCabe, her favourite Arsenal player. I sent it to you today. Only come through today. I've done it 10 days ago, but I let it slide because they were on international duty. You know what I mean? It said usually 7 days. I'm not going to want to complain, but she was on international duty and I didn't realise that. So, it was sent this morning. Lola was over the moon, and it was a great little message. But for what it cost, for how long she was on it, it's madness. You want to talk about money? We were talking about just before, man. I paid £150 for Katie McCabe to speak for 48 seconds.
I was going to ask,
48 seconds. Fucking hell.
Look, mate, I know she's at the top end of the scale. She's an elite women's footballer for what it's worth. I know they're not on the same kind of dough the men are on, but she's on enough to kind of, 150, that's a lot of money, man. I have to have it 7 days late as well, whatever it was. Jesus Christ.
It was only a few days late, but like I say, Lola was over the moon. So, and that was the whole point of it. But
that's the whole point,
yeah, it does make you laugh, right? I wouldn't mind getting. Imagine if the amount of episodes we've recorded on here. Imagine if we got paid by the second. Fucking hell, it'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
I know.
115 episodes, 16 episodes we've done. It's it's mad, but yeah, fair play to her. Listen, no, I don't really begrudge the women because we talk about the women on here and the amount they don't get paid and all the stuff they have to do. You know, so fair play. Listen, she's making a bit of coin. It made my daughter happy, so it's happy days. You know?
Yeah, that's a. So you started on a downer. You know, for myself and all the masses who wish your dad good health and wellness, mate. You did say you finished mid-pint. That's disappointing. I expect you to finish a pint before we start trekking over to the other side of the country.
Well, I wanted to be very careful about saying how much I drunk and drove. So, you know, so
fair enough, yeah. And obviously, so you've had the Lola's had the message from Katie McCabe for a birthday. Are we doing another Arsenal player for Easter? And then one for Christmas as well?
One. Oh, yeah, it won't end there. Lola loved it. So there's other Arsenal women players on there. They're not as expensive as Katie McCabe, but I think it'd be a running theme.
Well, mate, the England captain, Leah Williamson, you've got to be looking at 200 for her.
Oh, yeah, she's not on there. Beth Mead's, I see Beth Mead's on there. She's £100. So
discount.
I know. Could you imagine?
Okay, now. Yeah. Mine was drink fueled, mate. My weekend was drink fueled. Actually, I want to start on the Sunday. Well, that's where my weekend begins anyway, guys. We will get into boxing. I know Dave's 9 times out of 10 is more interested than mine, but I said last week that I was proud of myself that I went X amount of hours without any sleep and drinking. I done even better last Sunday, Dave. So here's where it starts. Again, I spoke to Sylvia Dooley-Galla last weekend. I know you obviously couldn't make it for the reasons you gave.
Yeah.
Had a good chat with her. I've actually fallen in love with her. So I will be filing for a divorce with Becky after this show. I fell in love with the Polish super flyweight. She was a great guest. So I stayed up to do a few more notes and watch a bit of her footage. Cracked in with her on the lunchtime. Ladder football. So then after then I went straight on the piss. No sleep. And I woke up on the Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock, and I didn't go to bed, Dave, until 12:30 the Sunday night. So I was awake for 31 hours, if my maths is correct. And I had lager, I had vodka, I had bull, and I had bottles of wine. And you know what? I bloody enjoyed myself, but I've only just recovered.
Yeah.
I've only just Monday and Tuesday, I stayed in bed all day. Apart from school runs, when I had to get out of bed, obviously you put your kids first, I stayed in bed all day. And I haven't done that since I was about 21. Couldn't get out of bed, mate. I was absolutely fucked. And it's not the beer, ladies and gentlemen. It's the lack of sleep. It's the lack of sleep that does you. Alcohol and no sleep.
It's like jet lag.
It is. It's like jet lag, but with alcohol on top. I've only just recovered. And by the way, you know, they say hair of the dog. I've literally I had a couple of bottles of Kronenberg earlier. I'm still drinking now. I've got the old Jack Daniels and Coke, mate.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Have you tried that?
No.
In the can?
Is it any good?
It's a bit strong for going to work on, but it is what it is. That's the entertainment for the podcast weekend, mate. So that was our weekend shites out the way. Let's crack in with a bit of boxing, as we normally do, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Dave McDonald and his famous dongs. So
it's David McDonald and the dongs. So not that we always asked about this fight, but it's been postponed. Joe Batalla and Claudio Squeo has been postponed and will not take place till May 13th due to a minor injury to Batalla. So the fight was due to take place will now take place on June 8th in the Gold Coast of Australia. Yeah, we wasn't up for that fight when it was announced last week. Still not up for it. I was hoping it'd be a change of opponent for someone, you know, who we could get on board with, but no. It's been pushed out for a few weeks. Joe Batalla has got a minor injury.
Yeah. I think you're speaking for the whole of the boxing community, mate, to be honest, what I've seen on social media. I know, not being horrible, I'd rather just cancel it and then go in Bizardo. Because, as we said last week, this is literally just to keep busy for him. Yes, he's going to get paid. We want him to get paid and stuff, but it's been pushed back. He'll get a couple of rounds. He'll look good. He'll make a statement, and then hopefully we get the Zerdo fight. But not completely bothered, to be honest. It's not what we want to see from Jai. He's the best in the division. He needs to be fighting the best. Like we said last night with Yanni Beck, these are prospects. These are C-level, club-level fighters. There should be anywhere near these types of guys, but it is what it is, and we just have to wait. We will review and preview it. Of course we will, but as Dave said there in his opening gambit, it's not really one we care about, to be honest. And Dave's a massive fan, aren't you, of Opataya? So you want to see better from him. Yeah.
I just want to see him in the best. I know that it's not stacked. I know that there's not a lot in the division there, but that's even more of a reason to make the best and biggest fights, because in the division you're in, you want it to be hot. And the only way it's going to be that is if the best fight the best.
Yeah.
Announced. Fabio Wardley will fight Jarrell Miller on June 7th at Portman Road, Ipswich. There's been Jarrell Miller's, you said it when he was on the Riyadh cards. He's the best fucking talker on a mic. He's the best salesman in the world. But he's gone after Fabio Wardley about a diss track that Fabio Wardley doesn't seem to know anything about.
I've never heard it. Have you heard it?
I don't know what he's talking about, but even I didn't really like the way that Wardley was sort of going, it wasn't me. And it was doing almost like a squeaky voice. It was a bit bizarre. But yeah, Jarrell Miller does Jarrell Miller things. Listen, we know he talked about the drugs where he was jabbing himself in the arse and all that sort of stuff, but he can sell a fight and he can certainly speak. So these build-ups, he will sell this fight to the absolute hill. So so fair play. Listen, say what you want about Jarrell. He's a name. It's a step up for Fabio Wardley. However you look at it, it is. Fair play. I've got no issues with this fight. There was talk about him fighting for for Pulev at one point. His name was thrown into that, but no, he's got Jarrell Miller, mate. So thoughts?
Uncle Frank's not stupid, is he? He's a very clever man. Fabio Wardley's obviously signed with Queensbury now. He's fighting at Portman Road, Ipswich. He doesn't know how many fans they're going to sell over that side of the country, whether he's got a massive fan base or not. Fabio Wardley, he's a bit more of a name now, but is it enough to sell a stadium? I tell you who will sell that stadium: Jarrell Miller. With the trash talk, with the brashness, the American, the stuff that he comes out with, the swearing, the attitude, everything that goes with him. He is one of the, along with Adrian Broner's kind of done now, but he's kind of he's part of that ilk, isn't he? They can sell sand to the Arabs if you like. They're good, they're head turners, the ones to watch. And he's got him over here. And as you said there, mate, he's also a step up, and he's kind of he's a sell. that will sell because Jarrell Miller will sell it. It'll, you know, whether he means it or not, 9 times out of 10 he doesn't. He likes to shake hands after fights, go and have a drink together, all that kind of thing. A bit like Derek Chisora, but he will sell the living daylights out of there. The other conversation is, should he be in the sport? Let's be totally honest, no, he shouldn't. He's a multiple-time drug cheat. So it's a hard one for us as boxing fans because he should be nowhere near getting opportunities for titles and paydays, but he is. That's the sad reality of it. But what concerns me more, Dave, here comes a rant about the sanctioning bodies. This I saw when I saw it announced that Jarrell had the Norwich kit on, kind of winding Fabio Wardley up, as he's a Ipswich fan and things like that. What belt is that was being shown by Frank Warren? So, to my understanding, we've got the champion, the full champion, Alexander Usyk, the WBA super champion. You've got the regular champion, as in Kubrat Pulev, and we've got the silver champion in Michael Hunter. What belt is that? I
have no idea.
I'm confused. I'm a boxing hardcore, and I've got no idea what belt that is.
Yeah.
That's not the regular. It's not the silver. It's not the full. What belt's that?
No, I know. I've no idea.
Oh, mate, I've got no idea. I've got no idea. So he was gone from fighting for a regular title, was in Kubrat Pulev. It was kind of more or less made, to fighting for what? I'm confused. But all in all, mate, I know that they're a pile of shit, the sanctioned bodies, but I think it'd be a good fight. I think it'd be a good fight. It'd be a test for him. Jarrell Miller, he's absolutely huge. You know, Fabio Wardley went the distance with Fraser Clark the first time, got a draw out of it, then sort of redeemed himself the second time by knocking him out in brutal fashion. This is a step up from Fraser Clark. Baby Miller doesn't seem to hit that hard, but he's just sort of pure pressure, 2 different styles. I am looking forward to it, but we can dissect it whether Jarrell Miller should be in the ring, and I think we can all agree he shouldn't be. But as boxing fans, we've got to be fickle at times. We've got to like it or lump it, haven't we? And I think we're going to actually have to lump it and watch it. I think we're all going to be watching it, let's be totally honest.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's like I say, it'll be exciting for however long it lasts. So there's a bit of a trinket on this one, mate. So there's a bit of news here. So anyway, Diego Pacheco has withdrawn from the ordered fight against Christian Mbile for the WBC interim super middleweight belt. But off the back of that, right, representatives for Diego Pacheco and Trevor McCumbee have reached an agreement for a fight this summer. The news comes shortly after Pacheco's team withdrew from this WBC ordered fight against Christian Mbile earlier today. So he's withdrew from fighting Mbile for an interim belt for the WBC. He's now fighting Trevor McCumbee. Now, you've thrown Trevor McCumbee's name out there a few times in some of the conversations we had. It's not a bad opponent at all.
Good fight.
I just, I'm okay with that. And if that was announced and mentioned before Mbile,
I know where you're going.
I just don't understand why.
I know where you're going. Say it.
Yeah.
Say it. Well, if it walks like it talks like it quacks like.
Well, yeah. It sounds like a weird one. It's a weird one. Do you not think to be coming out? Just say I'm not having that fight. I'm having this one. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And like I said, listen, McCumbee, he done well against Plant, very well against Plant.
Put him down.
But he's not in that. Yeah, but he's not in that bracket of the fighters we were talking about only yesterday in that division when we were talking about Yanni going up there. Yes, he's fringe. You can say fringe. He give Plant the fight of his life. So let's put him at the fringe bracket. But he's not in that top 6/8 of quality that's in that division. For me, so he said no to Mbile, and he said, so I don't know what the thinking is behind it. Does he feel like he needs a few more? He might talk the talk and say he's the next coming, but does he really believe it? Because the way that looks, he doesn't believe it for me just yet.
Yes, it sounds like a duck. Just say it as it is. It does. That's why it comes across. We want the best fights to be made, and obviously Canelo's just literally holding the division up until he fucks off. You just got to have the best fight and the best. And the 2 best prospects at the moment, or not prospects, sorry, the 2 best contenders at the moment, one of the two of the two are Christian Mbile and Diego Pacheco. So for him to kind of walk away, yes, Cumby's a good fight. It is a good fight. No one's saying it's not, but a better fight would be Mbile.
Yeah.
So it's very strange whether he's pulled out himself, whether his team have pulled him out, whether Eddie's pulled him out. We don't know, and none the wiser. I don't believe Pacheco's pulled himself out. I don't believe fighters are scared of other fighters. I believe Pacheco is the best 168 fighter, and I've said it on here before, and I continue to say it, outside of Canelo. Only time will tell. But when you read between the lines and you see things he said and Eddie said and Team Pacheco said, it just comes across as a duck. And I'm in exactly the same camp as you, mate. I don't understand it. I don't understand why you would turn down the Billy fight. Surely you've got confidence in your chin, in your ability, in your stuff you do in the gym. You said it before. Don't get me wrong. We're armchair fans, but we talk about boxing, how we see it. And as we spoke about Richard Torres Jr. Yesterday and going into his fight the weekend, how open he is. Christian Billy is kind of tailor-made for a lot of those top 5 fighters.
He's
because you can hit him down. It's wide open. Yeah, it's wide open. So if they can't see it, or I don't know. I don't know whether it's that they're scared is not the right word. Whether they're cautious of him, Billy's power, whether he lands and things have gone on in the gym in spar. I don't know, Dave. It's a hard one, but it does look like a duck. I'm not happy with him pulling out of the fight, but I kind of take the Trevor McCumbee fight, if you like, rather than take somebody out in the top 30, you know. But yeah, I think to cap that one off, mate, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. And I kind of haven't given him a little bit of a buy because I'm a super Pacheco fan, but it still doesn't sound good enough, does it? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I don't understand it. I'm with you. I don't understand it, but I can only put it down to whether they want to have a couple more before they start taking on this level of opponent. That's the only way I can see it, because these opponents ain't going in. They're in their primes themselves. They're going to be around. So your Belangas, Mungais, your Billies, your Plants, they're all going to be there. And at some point in time, they are going to have to fight because it's so stacked, that division. So I can only put it down to they're going to go and have a fringe one against McCumbee. That's a decent win if he comes off of that because of how he performed against Plant. Then go for it. I'm looking at it and I'm putting it down to just having a couple more before they start going to that. That's the only way I can see it.
Yeah,
I think he's ready. I think he can do it now. And but yeah, maybe their camp or whoever's advised them is thinking something different, mate.
I'd back him against him, Billy, and I love him, Billy, as well. Just purely on the two styles that they've got. I'm with you. Yeah. He's so easy to hit down the middle. I think he's tailor-made for Pacheco, but
he's got a big engine. He can whack. But he's not a skilled boxer in what he does. But yeah, anyway, we'll see what comes of that. I was surprised by this bit of news. I've got to be honest. Dimitri Bivol was informed the WBC he's vacating his light heavyweight title ahead of tomorrow's scheduled purse bids in order to fight David Benavidez. Bivol plans to proceed with a Arthur Beterbiev trilogy fight. I thought that was sort of they were going to leave it as 1-1. I can see why they were going to have a third fight. I believe now that Bivol is the favourite in that. Easily, I thought he boxed very well in the last fight. I don't see improvements in Beterbiev, but I can see why he'd want to make it 2-1. I would expect him to defend against Benavidez because I'm not sure what's happening with Beterbiev. So I found that a little bit. I just didn't see that one coming. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, you're right. It was kind of pushed to the side, wasn't it? It was about Beterbiev doing nothing, and it was about Benavidez taking on Bivol, like the new contender, if you like. I'm all for it. I've got to admit, 2 world elite class fights, 1-1, proper trilogy. Now we see who the best of this era is. I'm sold. I'm well in with it. That's the fight I want to see. But on a side note, I'm quite confused what's happening. I've seen things with Suleiman this week. I've seen things with Eddie Hearn this week. Eddie is saying that no matter what, whether it was the purse bids, whether it was Benavidez and Bivol were told they have to fight each other, they couldn't fight each other anyway because of contractual issues that he has to fight against Artur Beterbiev. So I don't always. I take most of the things Eddie says with a pinch of salt. But obviously, Dimitri Bivol been in the belt as well, which upgrades Benavidez to email champion.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The trinket on that is Benavidez has been elevated as a full WBC world champion now.
There is that. Does he want to win a belt like that? No. I'll treat that as a vacant title if he gets to fight Callum Smith next. But in all, because I hate the sanctioning body so much, I couldn't care less about the belts now. We know who the 2 best in the division are. It just needs the cherry on top. We just need confirmation who is that guy. But all the politics behind it, Dave, there was 8 million offered to Benavidez, apparently from Suleiman. I don't know where that's come from. Eddie said Bivol earned twice that in one fight against Beterbiev. So why would he fight for 8 million? I don't understand that side of it. I've got to be honest. There's still boxing. When Uncle Turkey's not involved, the politics gets in the way. When Uncle Turks is there, mate, it's fucking chalk. It's easy to do. I pay you this. I pay you that. See you in 12 weeks, boys. Let's go. But because Uncle Turk's not involved in this one, it's a bit of a shit show. But all in all, I'm happy to see the trilogy, mate. That's what I love. 1-1, 2 very close fights both times. Now we see who the best light heavyweight is on the planet, and I'm all for it. Bring it on.
Yeah. No,
Don't get me wrong, but Beterbiev, if he wins this one, Dave, he hasn't got a lot left. He's the same age as us. He's 40, but there's plenty of time for Benavidez to fight Callum Smith. Winner then goes on to fight Dimitri Bivol. Bivol's got a few more years left. Apart from Beterbiev, isn't it? So there's still time for Bivol to kind of cement his legacy even more by still taking on your Benavidez and your Callum Smiths and your Anthony Yars and all these kind of guys, isn't there? So yeah, that's why I see it, mate.
No, fair enough. A fight that's been announced, we spoke about it the other day. Richard Hitchens will defend the IBF super lightweight world title against George Kambosos Jr. on my birthday, June the 14th in Madison Square Garden, New York.
You going? New York for your birthday, mate?
I would like to be able to sell that one, to my
Kambosos Army. Kambosos Army.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But, do you want me to answer that, dear? Or
not a lot we can really say on that, but
no. Again, we've said it before 100 times. George Kambosos Jr. has got the best management team in the world. He gets opportunities, paydays off crap performances. End of. Jack Cattrall sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Same promotional company. Waiting and waiting, eliminator after eliminator, fucks up and he's nowhere to be seen. Let's be honest, two completely different styles. You said George Kambosos does nothing different. He's at A level at the night of his life against Teofimo Lopez. To me, he's going to get schooled to death by Richards and Hitchens. It really is. It's just a contest put together by Matchroom. Eddie's going to fill his pockets, and why not? That's what he's there to do. My heart just goes out to Jack Cattrall. Why couldn't he have had a voluntary against Mateus Parro or Richards and Hitchens? So I don't know if it's a promotion. I think it's Jack Cattrall, but I don't want to go down that route, mate. So yeah, not a lot. What do you think about the fight? I mean, I've just said my pen affair. It's not a good fight, is it? Let's be honest.
No, we mentioned this before. We mentioned this one after Kambosos' last fight. I say you said it there. He could have lost his last fight against an unknown sort of guy from Australia. What was his name? I can't remember his name. We've just fought. Who was going to go on?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We spoke there, like with a full camp. He was a good chance he could have won that fight.
That's right.
Kambosos Jr. is a tough man. He's a fighter, not the greatest of boxers. So for me, this is a bit of a mismatch. Yes, he will put it on him, and he will be tough, and he'll be on his chest, and causing him problems. But he's going to get out. He's going to get outboxed.
Yeah. And
like you said, you nailed it. It's his personal guy, his team around him should be, licking their lips at the opportunities that he seems to get. So, yeah, we'll sort of see what comes of it, mate. Now this has been ordered before. The WBC have ordered Shakur Stevenson to defend his lightweight world title against manager challenger William Cepeda. The two sides have until 6th of May to negotiate a deal before it goes to purse bids. Now I know you don't care for purse bids, but we've seen them cancelled many a time. Even and Billy's just happened now. It's that they don't always come off. But this has been ordered before, and it didn't come to fruition. So until it's signed, sealed, and delivered, I'm not sure. I'm not going to get too carried away about it. We spoke about Cepeda and Shakur Stevenson, their last performance because Zepeda's just fought against Tevin Farmer. But we'll see if this fight comes along. It's the fight we want. Clash of styles would be good. Shakur Stevenson's better fighter than Tevin Farmer. So, it's Cepeda. Yes, he's got a great work rate, throws lots of punches and stuff like that. But he's going to have to be better. And can he be better? That may be the question.
This fight won't happen. This fight, I'll tell you why. I've seen the same kind of news outlets you have. And again, we talk about the politics when Uncle Turkey's not involved. The statement I saw from the WBC was they've got to X amount of days or weeks to get it on. If not, it goes to purse bids. However, the clause is it's 70-30 Shakur Stevenson. There is no way on this earth that Oscar De La Hoya is going to let an unbeaten. Yes, I know he's not the champion, and I know he's not a name compared to Shakur Stevenson, but he's got a bigger resume and he's unbeaten. There's no way Oscar De La Hoya is going to allow William Cepeda to have 30% of that purse. This is not happening. It's no way it's happening. He's going to try for 50-50, probably 60-40. What is this? What is this 70-30 nonsense? Where's that come from? Purse bids don't normally work like that. It normally goes to the highest bidder, and then you put on the promotion. What's the 70-30? It ain't happening, Dave. If that is the clause, but I've never heard in my life. Maybe I'm not a boxing encyclopedia. I don't know. But that's the first time I've seen something. Well, if it does go to purse bids, the clause is Shako has 70%. So teams are paid to have 30. It's not happening.
It usually is a thing for a mandatory. I've heard this before. It usually is 70-30, but it's also usually a trinket to get out of a fight. You know, you're getting what you deserve and all that sort of shit. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of the fights don't happen. But yeah, for me,
sorry, mate. If Sapita, well, I didn't know that, so you've educated me. Fair play, mate. However, if Sapita was coming off defeats, if he had a resume of 33-4 and whatever, I could kind of understand it. But he's the interim champion. He was ranked number 1 with every sanctioning body. It was ordered before, but Sapita did pull out the first time, so I kind of get it. His wife was pregnant and things like that. But I've got to be honest, because Turkey's not involved, and with the politics now, Oscar De La Hoya is not going to take 30%. I'll tell you that now. That's not happening.
Yeah. Now, like I say, it's usually used as a stick to make the fight not happen. You know,
unless,
on the
hang on. Yeah. Unless Golden Boy win the purse bids, right? And put everything into Pader's favour. I mean, literally everything. Anything you can think of.
Yeah.
Gloves, ring walks, posters, hotels, any silly thing I can think of off the top of my head. Unless Golden Boy win the purse bids and they do everything that favours Team Cepeda. It just seems, I can't see it happening,
I don't think Oscar will, though. I just don't think Oscar will.
But it's a shame.
You never know.
I want it to be made.
Everyone wants to see that fight, but yeah, until it's signed and there's a presser, there's a face-off, it's just not happening. I don't think.
Yeah, unfortunately, I agree.
Yeah. Something we touched on yesterday. The British Board of Control have now officially ordered Davey Adelaide to defend his British heavyweight title in an immediate rematch against Jamie TKV, following their controversial fight on April 5th, last Saturday. They've done the right thing. I think it's the right thing to do, as we said yesterday. I thought the referee was fucking awful, and I stand by that. And it's the right thing to do. So, there's not much more. We touched on it yesterday. But for me, it has to happen. It has to happen. And the referee was awful. And the things that he done, I've not seen ever. So, as long as he's nowhere near the ring, it has to happen.
It won't be the same ref. I can guarantee you that. I just hope David Adelaide just does it a bit earlier this time. Stop fucking around. Stop waiting. As I said yesterday, I used Darren Barker's quote, "The arrogance of a puncher." That's all he was doing. He was waiting for the money shot. Just get it done even quicker. You know, you know where, you know when, you know how. Just fucking do it. TKV, you let him be better than what he is, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, because we've seen enough of him to know he stinks the place out. But I don't know if I can get out for that one now, Dave, after what I see the first time. But obviously, there's a bit of vengeance there now. There's more narrative, so hopefully it'll be better the second time around than it was the first. You know.
Yeah, well, like I say, people will tune in because of the controversy of the first one. So they'll have more eyes on it. So we'll see when it gets announced. This another one I can't really get up for. I don't know whether you're the same. Keyshawn Davis is set to defend his WBO lightweight world title against Edwin de los Santos on June 7th in his hometown of Norfolk. I mean, why? You know, the Santos had been in with Shakur Stevenson, didn't he, before?
Are you going off that performance though? Is that why you can't get up for it?
No, I just don't think I just think he's an opponent. I don't think he deserves. I don't think he deserves to have the opportunities that he's got. What's he done to warrant that? I just think this is another. He's fought him, so so people can get on with it. People can accept it as an opponent for now Keyshawn. That's how I sort of see it as. It's almost like, because if he didn't fight Shakur Stevenson, he doesn't get this opportunity, and that's how I sort of see it. It's just like, well, Shakur Stevenson fighting him, so people will be okay with it. That's how I sort of see it, not based on merit. Why is he getting this shot? Because why? Has he got himself into a ranked position to do it? No, it's because he fought Shakur. That's it, and that's why I can't get up for it.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm just trying to think now. That was the criticism that Shakur got in that fight, wasn't it? When people were leaving early in his hometown of Newark, when he was running, as they say. this time around, because we've seen it might end up. I understand what you're saying. I'm totally on board with what you're saying, mate. But I think this will be a much better fight because he won't be on the back foot. Keyshawn Davis. Now he's got this man strength and his powers come out of any somewhere. He'll start training with Dos Santos, so it might be a little bit more entertaining than the Shaka Stevenson fight. But yeah, it's going to be his first defense, isn't it, of his world title? So we probably can give him this one if you like, until he does kind of get. Well, he's not going to get mandated, is he, to fight the other champions because the sanctioning bodies don't rank each other's champions. So. I've got to be honest, mate. I understand where you're coming from, but I think there's worse fights out there for him to have for his.
There is. But you think Andy Cruz, he's screaming his name.
He don't want that smoke, brother. He don't want that smoke.
He's avoiding that.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He is avoiding. And then
that's got to be mandated.
Yeah, that would have to be. He's only going to. That fight's only happens when he's forced to take it. But and I just say, like, he's come off a great win there, world champion. And I was thinking, right, that's it. Now we're going to see him in these fights. He's coming. He's setting his feet. He's knocking dudes out now. He's showing a bit of spite. I like the Keyshawn Davis.
I'll ask you a question. Right, sorry, mate. Sorry, no, you finish, mate. I interrupted. Go on.
No, I was just going to say that he comes off of that. Everyone's sort of screaming his name, and then he gets a Dos Santos, and now I'm a little underwhelmed. I was wanting him to kick on and keep kicking on and being in with names. Now, I know that will come and there'll be odd ones in between. That's how I feel about this fight. This fight's an odd one in between something better. And I think I'm underwhelmed. Yeah.
So I was going to say, like, devil's advocate, if you like. So just, for instance, obviously, Andy Cruz is not a champion in any other divisions. If he was mandated to fight Keyshawn Davis with a 70-30 split, do you believe Eddie, obviously because of the narrative of him beating Keyshawn Davis in the amateurs X amount of times, he doesn't call his name out, doesn't seem he wants to fight. Do you believe Eddie would accept a 70-30 split with his unbeaten fighter in Andy Cruz? Or do you think that Eddie would kind of go out of his way to win the purse bids if it went to purse bids and do exactly the same as what I said what Oscar would do? Get everything. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think he would take a different route, because then if you're doing unifications, there is none of that split business. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go and get another belt elsewhere, and then we unify. And then
that's what I'm saying about Cepeda as well. I don't think that'll happen, man.
No, but that's what I mean. But then you've got I mean, in that division it's stacked. It's not as if you can go and do like what they're doing in the middleweights and saying, "Oh, I'll go for a Lara." I'll pick a weaker champion in that division. They're all, but that's the only way it is. Because if it comes to splits,
it's weird, isn't it? It's weird with purse bids as well, because when it goes to purse bids, you expect a certain promotional company to win the purse bids. But sometimes some of the fights, I can't think of off the top of my head, but sometimes when you see fights go into purse bids and then all of a sudden it just drops off and the fight doesn't get made. And you're thinking, well, who actually won the purse bid? What actually happened? Someone must have outbid somebody. So why isn't it happening? Who's pulled out? Do you know what I mean? So even if, like you said 100 times on this podcast before, even though it goes to purse bids and you expect those fights to be made, they just kind of disappear into thin air. And then you see that guy they fizzle out. So until you see them two in actually, facing off, on fight week and in the ring, it's kind of like pipe dream, really, isn't it? But again, there's worse fights to Keyshawn Davis, but I do understand where you're coming from, brother.
Yeah, and that's it, mate, for David McDonald and the Dongs.
You left out Ellie Scotney signing for MVP.
Oh shit! Yeah. Sorry, I did. Yeah, sorry. Apologies, I did. Yeah, that's a great move, but
is it? Yeah.
Yeah. So Ellie Scotney is signed with MVP Promotions, which is Jake Paul's company. So he seems to be. We said this last week. He's taking on the women. So Ellie Scotney's now got something. And fair fucking play to her, because she's going to get paid well from.
Yeah. I know. Where did that come from?
I know. So all the girls, even after the girls that we champion on here, hopefully they'll get that type of shot. You know what I mean? Because that is where the money is. They're going to be on huge shows as well. So big audiences. It's a fair place, yeah. So his first signing, a Brit, British signing, Ellie Scotney, and hopefully many will follow. So I'm all for that, mate. I'm delighted for her.
Have you seen the first card he's putting on? Again, we said it yesterday. We nailed it on Netflix, the biggest streaming service in the world. Only cost you a $5. Yes, there was buffering for the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul one, but that's teething problems. That won't last. So you've got Taylor Serrano 3. You've got Boom Gardner on the undercards, co-main, defending her titles. And you've also got Ellie Scotney on there as well, defending her titles as well. And you probably have a little caveat with Jake Paul doing something which attracts his fans and they stop and watch the girls.
Yeah.
Mate, fair play to what he's doing with the girls, because Ellie Scottney, for a limited career that she's had, she's going to earn more in one fight than Matchroom have paid her in her career.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
he's weighing them in, man.
Yeah,
he's weighing them in. Fair fucks to him.
Yeah, it's good. It's class, man. Hopefully a few more follow.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely, mate. So, yeah, fair play to Ellie Scottney and all the rest of the girls that signed with MVP, should I say. Right, let's jump over to the prediction league, ladies and gentlemen. See what the scores were from the weekend. 6-5 it was to myself going into the weekend. Let's see how the two Daves got on. So, Joyce Hergovich. I went for Hergovich on points. Dave went for Hergovich on points. Sorry. Yes. Read my writing. Yes. Let's start again. Joyce Hergovich. Mr. Holland went for Hergovich on points. So there was 3 points for Dave. I went for Joe Joyce for a KO. So nothing for myself. Adelaide versus TKV. We both went for Adelaide by KO. Dave said 4. I said 5. Adelaide done it in 6. So there's 3 points apiece there. Yanni Beck versus the French kid. Both obviously went for Yanni Beck. Dave went for round number 3. So 3 points there. And I nailed it. I got Yanni Beck in round 5. I know my stuff when it comes to my boy. So it's 6 points. Torres Jr. versus Vianello. This is where it's let you down, son. Dave went for the Gladiator in round 7, so nothing there. And I went for Torres Jr. on points, which gives me 3 points there. Zoo versus Spencer. Both went for Tim Zoo by KO. I said 7. Dave said 3. Tim did it in 4. So that's 3 points there. And Emma Dolan versus Lauren Parker. We both went for the Dolan on points, which gives us 3 points apiece there. So the scores ended up: David Holland 15, David Graham 18. Going into this week's action, it's David Graham 7, David Holland 5. Have that, motherfucker.
You've nailed it with Yanni Beck as well.
I got the round right, but Vianello's done you, really.
Yeah, well, I knew it was always a bit of a chance there. He wasn't the same Vianello we'd seen in previous fights, I can tell you that. But,
yeah.
Oh, well, it's a chance you take.
So I've opened up a 2-point gap, all to play for this weekend. Now, we'll start. There's only 3 fights for us to cover this weekend. So we will start Saturday night over in Atlantic City. It's a big fight, to be fair. It's Boots Ennis versus Eimantas Stanionis, the IBF champion in Boots, taking on the WBA champion in Stanionis to unify the division. And obviously the Ring Magazine belt's involved here as well. So it does mean it's 1 versus 2. Whoever you want to say is 1 versus 2, that's literally up to you. So they're both unbeaten, Dave. 2 completely different styles here. Both stellar amateurs going into the pros. Boots is a lot more active than Stanionis. Stanionis seems to fight once a year, but that's standard for a PBC fighter. Boots, obviously, a lot more active. He was a PBC fighter, but he's gone over to Matchroom now. And we've both said it on this podcast before. And got to be honest, it's nothing to do with Eddie Hearn at all. He's kind of sold him very well. He's got him in his home state of Philly, selling out arenas. Yes, if you look at Boots' resume and Stanionis, to be honest, there's nothing kind of stand-outish, but we wax lyrical about these fighters because what they do is levels above the rest of the division, or the majority of the rest of the division. But since Boots has signed for Matchroom, Dave, yes, he's gone in against David Evanesian. He stopped him. Didn't look too great in doing it, but we expected to do it. And then went in with Karen for a second time, and it wasn't good. It seems since he's gone over to Matchroom, the performances hasn't looked good. They haven't looked great. We know he's better than what he is. Now, does he fight to the level of his opponent? Possibly. He can't. He's going to have. If he fights to the level of the opponent on Saturday, mate, against Stanionis, we're going to see a better version of Boots.
Yeah.
However, Stanionis is a hard night's work for anybody. He's a WBA champion for a reason. He's an old-fashioned throwback Eastern European fighter that's constantly on your chest. Low, high guard, low stance, constantly comes forward, doesn't give you a chance to breathe, if you like. Doesn't give you a chance to get your shots off, get your rage. You can't get your rage control. You have to be fast, you have to be fleety, you have to be quick against Stanionis to get any sort of work off against him. 2 completely different styles. Slick versus a bruiser, if you like, in Stanionis. I'm really looking forward to this one, mate. And as we sit here now talking about it, discuss it between ourselves, I can't conclude who's going to win this.
I know. It's a really good fight. Do you know what? There was obviously talk about Boots Ennis, fighting Virgil Ortiz on a Riyadh card, moving up and all that sort of stuff. And he said, no, he wants to unify the division where he is. And everyone was talking about, he's ducking it. But in the opponent he's taking on in here, that's not a duck for me, mate. He's taking one of the best in the division on and trying to unify. And I'm okay with that. So all that talk of duck and not moving up when he's that, no, not for me. This is a really, really tough fight. This is jeopardy, and this is the fight that you want. We were talking about in the divisions earlier, where they're not fighting each other. You can't. So fair play to Boots Ennis for taking this fight, because there is real jeopardy here. Stanionis, like you said, is on the chest, work rate. Like I said, it's still an amateur, so his pressure is educated pressure.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just plowing forward and hoping for the best and winging hooks. You know, he's thinking about what he's doing, and he's got the engine to do it. So this is a real clash of styles here, because like you said there, you've got one who's on the chest and you've got one who can box on the back foot, and we'll have to.
Mate, it's like single shots versus pressure, isn't it? Output versus single shots. Yeah.
So this is for me is a really hard one to call, because and this is where this could be a breakout. No, I'm not saying about breakout night for Boots because he's had 30 odd fights, but this could be the performance that Boots needs to propel himself now.
Oh, be the best name on his resume. Be the best name on his resume by a country mile.
He's a star anyway, but you know, like this.
Is he though, Dave? Is he? Is he though?
Well,
let's be totally honest.
Well, he's being labelled as one.
Yeah.
Has he lived up to it net? Yeah, no, I don't believe he has. No. But he puts on a good performance against Stanionis. That's when it starts for me. I think Matchroom will have a star on their hands if he does a good job on Stanionis, a real good job. This will be a massive statement, and this will be the fight that Eddie Hearn thought he was signing. Should he make a massive statement in this fight? Now I'm with you. I find this one really hard to call. But let's be honest, Dave.
Hang on, just before you make your choice. Let's be honest. The star of the show's gone. Terence Crawford's kind of wandered off in doing what he's got to do. 154 and looking to take on Canelo. Boots hasn't really made that statement yet. He's supposed to be the next best thing. The resume doesn't tell you that, but the performances do. As I said, there's kind of levels, and you notice about what he does. And we're forgetting as well, he's kind of having a given, if you like, in terms of being labelled the next superstar, because Errol Spence ain't that guy anymore. If Errol Spence was still doing Errol Spence things, we're talking about Boots fighting him, but we're talking about Errol Spence kind of unifying the division. Now Crawford's pissed off. So he has to kind of step up as well, doesn't he? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But because Stanionis is kind of underrated, not for boxing fans, the casual won't know anything about him. They'll know about Boots because of the name Boots. Who's that? Oh, a fighter. Oh, it's an unusual nickname, etc. There won't be too much known about him. But if Stanionis wins on the weekend, Dave, from the style that he's got, the complete pressure, the output, a bit like Cepeda-esque, if you like, I won't be shocked. I won't sit here on Monday or Tuesday when we do our podcast and say, oh, do you know what, Dave? I know Stanionis was the champion, but I didn't see that coming because I fucking can.
Yeah, I think this is a 50-50 fight.
This
is a 50-50 fight. Like I say, Boots, you said it there, Boots, he hasn't set the world alight. Yes, he's had 30 odd fights, he's hugely experienced, but for me, he hasn't had that massive breakout night, where you've gone, wow, like this is it. He could have it against Stanionis, and if he does come through it with a sparkling performance, or or stoppage or something like that, then against, because Stanionis is a credible opponent, like he's a champion in his own right, an amateur in his own right. So this is a big win should he get it. Now the manner of the win will be the difference for me in his sort of stardom, and is he the next big thing? So if he labours to a points win, it's still a great name on his record, and the boxing hardcores like ourselves and Liam and all them guys will say that's a credible win, that's a great win.
You said laboured though. You did say laboured, so there's a difference, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a bit. That's what it's the manner of the win that's going to make people whether they're going to scream his name or not. Now, people that don't really know Stanionis very well will be like, oh, it's he just about got through it. But Stanionis is a fucking good fighter, so any type of win from him will be good. But I think if he goes out there and absolutely bulldozes him, knocks him out, and that's a real statement win for me.
Yeah, he's the guy of the division. Yeah.
Yeah. Do I think he's going to do it? I think Boots will win, but I think Boots will win on points in a close fight.
Yeah.
In a close fight, I think Boots will nick it. But I think Stanionis is going to have his moments, and he's going to put Boots under pressure he's never felt before.
Yeah, I agree. I think Boots gets the nod on points, whether it be a split decision, majority decision, or unanimous decision, because the judges will like his style of work. His shots would be more eye-catching than Stanionis. Stanionis is kind of Sapeda, like just comes forward and constantly throws. And you can throw in Isaac Cruz as well to an extent, just constant pressure, constant throwing. You know, if there's a lot of work going on the gloves, they're going to kind of reward it to the home fighter in boots, landing those single shots, more eye-catching, more attractive to look at. And I think that's how he does it. I don't think it's going to be a breakout night at all. And I agree with you. He will have the name on the resume. It looks good. But I think Monday we might be sitting here saying, do you know what? He did win that fight. Fair play to him, but I'm still not sold. I'm still not sold on Boots Ennis being that guy of 147. And by the way, you mentioned the Virgil Ortiz fight, and you're right to bring it up, mate. He was offered a fucking career-ending money, if you like, or highest payday ever. Yeah, from Uncle Turks. Turned it down to stay at this division, but by also claiming he struggles to make 147. So, yeah, don't kind of get that either. But if you're struggling to make weight, if he loses on Saturday night day, will he blame the weight? Well, you had the chance to move up to 154, brother. You chose not to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going the same way as you. Again, Boots Ennis. Hopefully we'll see mate, to be fair, I haven't got a dog in the fight either. I couldn't care less who wins. I really don't. I'm not a Boots Ennis fan. I'm not a Stanionis fan. I just want to see a great fight between two supposedly elite fighters in this division. So, but yeah, I'm on the same rhetoric as you, mate, to be honest. So, hopefully a good show they put on for us on Saturday night. Also on this card, Ray Ford. Tricky southpaw fighter. We know a lot about Ray Ford. Went in with Nick Ball, went life and death with Nick Ball, lost his title that night. A guy we just spoke about there, Boots Ennis, couldn't make weight. Ray Ford admitted he struggled with the weight, so he's gone up to super featherweight now, taking on Thomas Matisse at super featherweights. This is literally for me, Ray Ford kind of going through the motions, earning ranking points until he gets a shot at the title, to be honest, Dave. Eddie Earn, we know, is affiliated with the WBA, so giving him this level of opponents, I say a level of opponent, he's a decent opponent, but I expect Ray Ford to be far too good for Thomas Matisse. I think I did write down in my notes, brother, he was coming off a technical decision loss to Rocky Hernandez. I think that was after 6 rounds. Rocky Hernandez, we know, was obviously winning that fight, and he went the full distance with Pitbull Cruz about 5 years ago. So I'm not sure there's a lot here to trouble Thomas Matisse. Now Ray Ford's at a higher weight. He's sitting down more on his shots. It looks more comfortable. He looks bigger. He looks stronger. I expect a good performance from Ray Ford on Saturday night, mate.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I think it's going through the motions type of fight. I think you're going to see the repertoire of what he can do. He's going to put on a bit of a show, and and go through the motions, mate. For me, it's one of them type of fights, isn't it? It's I wouldn't say it's a keep busy, but it's
work your way up the rankings, isn't it? So work your way up the rankings now.
Yeah, it's a build up fight. It's to build up to something greater. Yeah, so I'm expecting Ray Ford to be way too good for this guy. I mean, his record suggests 22 fights, 17 KOs that he can whack, but he's had 4 defeats on his record. But I don't think Ray Ford's going to be getting drawn into anything. I think he will, he'll go through this guy, really. I think for me, I think Ray Ford will get the stoppage. The guy's never been stopped, but I think it'll be the first time he gets stopped. I think he's going to stop him in round 5, Ray Ford.
Yeah, so I'll go points then, because he's never been stopped. I'll go points, even though I just said Ray Ford's stronger, hungrier, sitting down the shots, can hurt people. But I'll go for points. But interesting to see that I mentioned Eddie's affiliation with the WBA, if he can kind of work his way into a title shot with Lamont Roach Jr., seeing what happens with him with Gervonta Davis. Or he might rock the mic. He might, on Saturday night at Atlantic City, get the mic and say, look, you've been talking a lot of shit on social media, aka Shaki Foster. Let's me and you fucking get it on. Give me a voluntary and we can get it on. So that would be another good fight going forward as well. Because Shaki Foster needs an opponent as well, doesn't he? So yeah, there's a lot of good fights to be made at super featherweight as well. But I'm going for a points win for Ray Ford on Saturday night. And just quickly, Omari Jones, Dave, we saw him about 3 weeks ago on the undercard of Ammo Williams. He's out again on Saturday night. He had a second round TKO victory in his last fight. He's taken on William Jackson over 6 rounds doing his apprenticeship. We brought a little bit of a review about him last time, and we'll continue to do the same, I think, won't we, on Monday's review. So that's the Olympian keeping busy under the Matchroom banner, mate.
Yeah, that's it. They're just going to get him out build up as much experience as they can, get his record up, get him out active, and that's all you can do on a prospect. Get him out as many times as you can. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
That's what I like to see. Right, third and final fight to preview. This is a weird one. I won't say it's not weird at all. It's just weird what time it's on for us here in the UK. Who he's the opponent who he's fighting, the weight. So we're talking about Marlon Tapales. That ring a bell with a lot of boxing fans. Obviously, we know him from the Inoue and MJ fights. He's going in against an opponent on Monday morning over in the Philippines in his home country against Indonesian challenger John Jett. Now, AKA Triple J, he's called, right?
Yeah, Triple J. I was going to say that.
There is no way this dude his parents have named him John Jett. Now we know from the CP Freshmart days that they have sponsors over in these poorer Asian countries, if you like, and they're sponsored by them. Then they take the name of their sponsor. So I'm guessing John Jett is some sort of sports or some kind of branding that they give to this poor Indonesian guy. However, I want to concentrate on Marlon Tapales. He's 39-4 now, 20 KOs. He's 33 years of age, tough, skillful, durable character, fighter, should I say. We saw him against Inoue, and I wouldn't say I fell in love with him, but he's the only one I've seen in recent history. Yes, he got knocked out. He was stopped by Inoue like everybody else is, but he made Inoue think. Yes, Lewis Neary knocked Inoue down, but he didn't give him really anything to think about. He just pissed him off. Marlon Tapales changed his style about 2 or 3 times, and you saw Inoue trying to, what's he doing now? He's going to the body. I have to navigate my way around from a body, get round. Do you know what I'm saying? There was a couple of different bits and bats that Marlon Tapales put into his game plan to kind of make Inoue think. Inoue gets to everybody in the end. But Tapales is a 2-weight world champion, and it's at its weight. And it's also, mate, it's only because Inoue is holding up the division with all the belts. I truly believe that once he fucks off and does what he's got to do in 2026, that Marlon Tapales, the level he's at, even at 33 years old, can easily become a world champion in this division again. Easily become a world champion. I think he's one of the best. And by the way, before you cut in, mate, a lot of people tend to forget we all champion Inoue versus MJ. That's the fight we want to see. And that is the fight we want to see. 100%. But Marlon Tapales beat MJ. Marlon Tapales beat MJ. Akhmadaliev. So this guy is legit down at super bantamweight, and I'm looking forward to seeing him if we can see him on Monday morning, because he's going to be in the Philippines. It's going to be a hard stream, so we'll probably rely on our friends over at Twitter to give us the action. But yeah, Marlon Tapales, mate, back out against old John Jett, Triple J. What are you thinking? Can you see an upset, or is it going to be a Marlon Tapales masterclass in his home country of the Philippines?
I don't see an upset. I was going to put it to you there, like looking at his box rec. Like his last 3 fights have all been 10 rounders. Now I know you're talking about him maybe being a world champion again, but I don't sort of understand.
It's what they can afford to pay him, though, isn't it? It's what
is that what it sort of is? Yeah, may well be. Yeah, may well be. As I was just saying, whether I'm seeing 10 rounders, whether he has the desire to want to fight for belts anymore, or does he just want to be, just be in fights, if you know what I mean. When I'm looking at that, I was sort of questioning that. But Marlon Tapales is a great fighter. He's a really, really good fighter. Listen, he lost to Inoue, but there's no shame in that. But he, like you said there, he had different game plans in that fight.
No one talks about that.
No. Triple J, I don't see any sort of jeopardy here. I really don't.
You're not going to pull an Indonesian out your arse, no?
No, not today, mate. Not today. It's good to see Marlon Tapales out. I like his style. I like what he brings to the table. He's a good fighter, and he deserves to be in with the big names. Like you said there, he beat MJ. So Inoue's on a different stratosphere. He really is. But I would like to see him in with better opponents, people, names that we know. He was in with Subra Kumar before that, went 10 rounds with him in last year, and now he's in with Triple J. I would like to see him out against names.
It's great, isn't it? Triple D, Triple G.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. He'll be nothing like either Triple D or Triple G. but yeah, for me, Marlon Tapales is gonna. Yeah, I think he stops him. I really do. Yeah. I think he's going to stop, and he's been stopped before once. His one defeat, he was stopped.
Not at this level, though.
He was stopped in round 1.
Yeah, not at Tapales, exactly. Not at Tapales' level.
Luke Boyd. Right. Luke Boyd. I'm sure I played with football against someone called that.
Could be the same geezer.
yeah. So I'm going to go for Marlon Tapales.
Hang on. Are you suggesting that Triple J is an Indonesian bin man? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, a road sweeper.
Jesus.
I think Marlon Tapales is going to win by KO in round 2.
Yeah, I'll go 3, mate. I'll go round 3.
Luke Boyd's banging him out in fucking round 1. He can't go. It can't go much longer.
No, Will he put on the Philippines is obviously it's quite a poor country, so they'll be using their money to go and watch their heroes, if you like, over in the Philippines. So will he try and put a little bit of a show on for the fans first and then detonate? So yeah, you're going 2, I'm going 3. Just quickly before we say goodbye and fuck off, mate. I'm surprised. I had a look at Tapales' resume earlier, and we speak about AJ versus Fury, the biggest fight in British boxing. We speak about Nakatani versus Inoue, the biggest fight in Japanese boxing. I'm surprised at the age of Marlon Tapales and Joel Casimiro that them two haven't put it on in the Philippines. That would be huge.
That would be great,
Mate, do you know when Manny Pacquiao used to fight, when he used to fight per se, the whole of the Philippines used to stop and watch him. I think I think it was a factual statement came out by the Manila police or something that crime rate went to like nearly 0 when Manny Pacquiao put those gloves when he stepped in the ring. Went in for how many rounds, and if the crime rate went up again. Honestly, they God worship people. So how Tapales versus Casimiro, it's never become a thing. I'm quite stunned by that.
Yeah. No, that would be great. That would be you would think you would think they would. You would think they would, because now he does it for the economy and everything else that brings to a country that's not, it hasn't got the most wealth to put eyes on it. You know what I mean? So it's a strange one, and that would be a barn burner. That would as well, because Casimiro's another one as well, isn't he? That would be a great fight. Yeah, it would be a great fight. It may have passed its time now, which is a shame, but yeah. Even if they did call it now, it'd be a fantastic fight, mate. I'd be all over that.
Yeah, definitely. So that's our preview, should I say, for the weekend. Just finish off with the winners' weekly wager. There was £38 in the pots last week. Dave went for Yanni Beck last week to do the business in 3 rounds. He did it in 5, so that's 3 points earned. Those 3 points turn into pounds. Dave always doubles it to make it £6. So going into this week, we've got £44 in our charity pot. As we stick by the rules on the sanctioning bodies, I won the prediction league last weekend, so I get to choose my banker of the week. And it's obvious where I'm going, Dave. It's very obvious where I'm going.
Triple J, isn't it?
Triple J. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if he lands the money shot on Tapales, eh? I think I'll end this podcast. I've got my fingers crossed as I say that. I'll never end this because I love my boxing too much. But yeah, it's got to be Marlon Tapales to do the business in round 3 for me. There's not a lot to pick from this weekend, but I think he is the banker of the week, ladies and gentlemen. So going into the weekend now, mate. Anything to add, and what are your plans for this week, brother?
I'm not doing a lot, mate. I might go down and see my mum and dad again. Like I said earlier in the show, my dad's not well, so yeah. I don't know how many times we'll get to to go down there. Life can be cruel. So I'll probably go and do that Saturday, mate. I don't think I'll get much involved in the old drink. So yeah, I think
you're saving yourself for the stag do, aren't you?
I've got 4 weeks until I go on the stag do. Yeah. I was sort of trying to train myself last Saturday, getting back into, because it'd be 4 days of drinking, but I only had one pint, if that, and I had to be so. Yeah, I don't. My weekend's not going to be involved with much drinking, but yeah, I have got to start thinking about
getting in training. The
stag do, and also as well, I've got to start fancy dress. So the fancy dress theme is Disney or superheroes. Now, the reason I think the geezer who's Lee's best man is chose Disney, because I think he's going to dress him up as a Disney princess.
Okay,
I think that's why. I think that's the thought behind it. Because why would you want 30 blokes dressed as Disney if you're not going to put him as Snow White or something, or Cinderella? Yeah. So I think that's the plan behind it. But so I've been speaking to Mickey and Miller today about what we're going to go as, because we're going up there together.
Does it just have to be in themed? Is it? Couldn't you obviously we're a boxing podcast. Yeah, it has to be. Okay.
Yeah, it's either superheroes or Disney. So you would think that 30 blokes would go as superheroes. You know what I mean? Superman and all that sort of stuff. But I think Lee Harper's going to end up being Cinderella or Elsa and Anna or somewhere like that. But he's going to have to do it because he's a stag, and that's he's dragging 30 blokes out to Benidorm. He's going to have to play the game.
Oh, I think he will. He's got no shame.
Oh, he will. He will. He won't give a shit. He'll dress up all right. But I think that's what's coming.
I was just trying to think, because obviously he was on the WhatsApp chat earlier, and you and Adam were talking about things. So I was kind of just trying to go down a boxing route. I was thinking, like, if you were going to do something together, you mentioned the Only Fools and Horses thing, and a boxing kind of thing. Couldn't you two kind of like black yourselves up and go as the Charlo brothers or something like that? Or...
Jesus Christ.
It would have gone over, wouldn't it? But...
Oh, gee. In Benidorm, you probably get away with it. But everywhere else, you'd be
Belts
arrested.
galore. People
Yeah.
belts galore. And you're into criminality. You know, you could play up as well. You've been to criminal. Yeah, not getting arrested in Benidorm and all sorts, mate.
I'll be nicked. Yeah, I'll spend 4 days in a cell.
The Charlos on tour, eh?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Fair play, mate. Yeah, but just going back to what am I doing Sunday? So the lads have got their final. Well, they've got the final cup game of the season. If they win on Sunday, we win the Merit Shield, which
Nice.
Yeah, I can't wait. So they've got to be. They won last week. They've won every game so far in their Shield. Nearly let it slip last week. Last 10 minutes were under pressure. So we need a few like half-time Haribos. Used to be oranges in our day, didn't it? They have Haribos now at half-time to kind of give them a bit of a sugar rush. To win that, I'm going to watch the Stourbridge women over at Sporting Cowser. It's not too far from me. Up at Wolverhampton. Yes, they're dead and buried now, but going to go and see if they can score a few goals and give them a bit of enthusiasm kind of thing. There's a decent bar over there, so I should let everyone know what the bar's like over at Sporting Cowser. And I'm off next week, mate. So I'll be doing what you should be doing, really, training. A lot of beer drinking and half term, so I've got a lot of kids around me and things like that. So yeah, that's my weekend, mate. A bit of football, a bit of boozing. Back on the podcast next weekend. But as I just said there, mate, to end it, you said about you need to get into training. You do know that you can train yourself at home. You don't need to go out and do it. You can get yourself. Yeah. So I'd like to hear on next week. Obviously, we all wish your dad very well. We all hope he's in best of health. But if he is, then I'd like to hear you getting the crates of Stella in, the crates of Bud in, the crates of Coors in, and giving yourself a good old training session, mate. Going in to this stag do in 4 weeks' time.
I know. That's not a bad shout, yeah.
I know.
I don't always, you're right. You don't have to always go to the pub, but I do like the pub.
No. Beer's beer, innit? But yeah, I understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So let's love you and leave you, mate. Right. I'm off to work. Dave's doing his usual shit, shave, shower, sleep and a bit of grub. And we'll love you and leave it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back on Monday when we've got the fantastic Yasmina Sapatochna. Back on, she's back on with us. She'll have that European belt as well, blinging it on YouTube for us, going through her fight. And we'll be back on Tuesday for a preview, and then we're back on either Wednesday or Thursday for our preview show going into next weekend. I think we've got a busy weekend coming up, so there'll be lots to talk about boxing wise. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, have a great weekend, stay safe, and as I always say, enjoy the bloody boxing. So until then, peace out, guys. Peace out, brother.
Take care, mate. Have a good one.